guys, it is March the 11th, 2025, and I hope everybody's been having a wonderful day so far today. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon right now, and I am currently at the hospital. My dad had to have surgery this morning. I don't remember if I talked about it in yesterday's video or not, but my dad he's had a really bad back. He's had back problems now for the past couple of years, and he's been hunched over and having a really hard time getting around and doing anything. And he's had to have like steroid injections in his back for like the past 2 years, and he just got tired of getting the injections over and over and over again. And the doctor basically told him, we're just putting band-aids on the situation, and until we actually address the situation and fix it, we're just going to continue to keep doing this over and over and over again. So he went and talked with a couple of surgeons and finally found a surgeon that would perform the procedure and fix his back. So that's why we're over here today. He had surgery this morning, and he got out of surgery at like 11:30, and he's sitting in recovery waiting right now. And the doctor came in and told us that the procedure went well, and that he's doing well. And I guess they replaced like a disc in his back. He has a disc, I guess, that like shattered on him or something, but they went ahead and they replaced that disc. And now, like I said, he is sitting in recovery. They had to go through his stomach to replace that disc in his back. They said that if they had to cut through his back muscles, that it was going to make the recovery like super long, and it was going to make it really difficult. So they went ahead and went through his stomach to get to his back and replace that disc. And so he's going to have a pretty big scar on his stomach, and I'm sure he's going to be in a lot of pain today. But like I said, he's doing well, and we haven't seen him yet. I didn't even tell my mom I was coming over here this morning. I just showed up and surprised her. So I've been sitting in the surgery waiting room all this time with my mom, spending time with her, and just trying to help her through this process, because I know she's really stressed out and scared right now. She's so nervous. So I just figured it'd probably be important for me to come here and, make sure that my mom's okay today. So I'm going to spend the whole day here at the hospital. I don't know what time I'm going to go home. I probably won't leave until tonight. But like I said, we're still waiting on my dad. He's in the, recovery part, and we're not allowed to go back there, and we can't see him until he gets taken to his room. And they came and said that they are currently waiting on his room to be ready, and once they get that done, that they're going to take him up there, and then we can go see him. So while we're waiting on him to get transferred to his room, I figured I'd take this opportunity to come out here and film a video for today and just talk with you guys. And being here today, and what I dealt with yesterday and last night, and just the amount of stress that I've had personally, because, I've always been on the other side of this. I'm always the one that's having surgery. I've had some family members have surgery here recently, but it's not blood. I've had, members of my wife's family have to have surgery, but, this time is, actual blood of mine. This is, my dad. And, my dad and I haven't seen eye to eye, and it's one of those things I don't really ever talk about, but, it's really personal to me. But my dad and I haven't seen eye to eye for years. We've bumped heads, and, I finally, moved past all that and, reconciled with my father, and, I've been trying to really spend, as much time with him as I can here over the past, however long it's been. And all the time that I've spent in the hospital, and all the times that I've almost lost my life, especially here recently, I had to have that emergency surgery back in October, and that was scary. Just thinking about how short this life is, and all the missed opportunities, just being hard-headed, just because of simple disagreements, not speaking to people, which I'm guilty of. And I just realized this life is so short. We only have so much time, and it's time to move past all that, and that's why I'm here today. I just want to be here for my father, and I want him to know that I care about him. So I'm here, and when he finally comes to, when they take him to his room, he's gonna see me, and I'm sure it's gonna make his day. And I just wanted to do that for him. And like I said, I wanted to be here for my mother because she's so nervous. But the point of today's video is, now that I've spent 5.5 minutes, and I already actually recorded another video before this one, but I didn't really like it. The point of today's video is that, I was thinking about all of this morning when I was driving over here, and when I got here to the hospital, just thinking about, this from the other side, because like I said, I haven't had the experience of being on the other side very often, and especially with a family member of mine. I can't remember the last time that I had one of my family members have surgery, like serious like this. And last night I didn't sleep very well. I was super nervous last night. I told my kids, I've waited. I didn't want to tell my kids and worry them, but last night when I was making them dinner, I had to break the news to them and tell them, hey guys, granddaddy's having surgery tomorrow. And the look on their face, oh my gosh, they looked so scared. And they were like, what? Granddaddy's having surgery? And I said, yeah, granddaddy's got surgery tomorrow. I'm so sorry, but that's just the case. And they're like, is he going to be okay? And I told him, I said, he's having surgery on his back and everything should work out, and that I was going to come here today and spend time with them. And just the look on their face, I could just tell it really scared them. And I surprised them when I told them that. And they were pretty worried last night. It just made me really think about this from the other side. This from the side of the person that is, waiting on us. Because what I want to talk about today is that, there's a saying that if we continue down the road of active addiction, there's only 3 places that we're going to end up. And that's either in the hospital, in jail, or in a grave. And it's true. I mean, it really is, and I hate to say that, but it's just the honest truth of it all. That if we continue down the path, it's either the hospital, jail, or the grave. And I know for a fact that none of you want to end up in any of those 3 places. Now, inevitably, we're all going to end up in the grave. I mean, it's just part of life, There are 2 things that we have to do in this world, and that's pay taxes and, unfortunately, end up in the dirt at some point. But we want to try to make this life last as long as we possibly can. We don't want to end up there early. But continuing to stay in active addiction and drink or use whatever the substance is, eventually it's going to cause us to end up in one of those 3 places. And sometimes the grave is what ends up happening, unfortunately, or it's jail, or it's the hospital, and then it's jail, and then it's the grave, or whatever variation of those 3 things. And the reason I come on here every single day is to try to prevent people from ending up in the same situation that I ended up in, waiting too late, never going to the doctor whenever I knew something was wrong, just never getting checked out. Always thinking that I could fix everything. It was always this idea, if I just stop drinking, everything will be okay and I'll get better. Well, that wasn't the case, because I did stop drinking, and then everything started falling apart after that. But I had let my health go to the point where there was no turning back at that point. I mean, my health my liver was shot, my pancreas was shot, I already had blood clotting going on. My spleen was already enlarged. I mean, at that point, it was already too late. But the point of this video is that, stopping now or remaining sober can keep you out of these situations. And the point of today's video is that just not about us. Think about the other people in your life that you're going to put through all of the stress. Because it's not just us who have to deal with the consequences of our actions. Think about your mom, your dad, if they're still around, or your aunts and your uncles and your grandparents, your children, your spouse, your boyfriend or your girlfriend, your co-workers, your good friends. They're all going to be so worried about you. You're going to have all these people stressed out and worried about you because you continue to do the same things that you know that you need to stop. I mean, it is the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. We keep drinking, and expect something to change. It's not going to change until we change. And it's just like I was talking about the other day, not yesterday, but the other day, it's not that we don't want it, because I can guarantee that every single person watching this right now wants to get sober, or wants somebody in their life to get sober. But we have to be ready for it. We have to be ready to make the change. And that is the key to it all, is being ready, and being ready to make that huge change in our life. And we can all do it. Is that change going to be comfortable? Absolutely not. I'll be the first one to tell you right now, it's not going to be comfortable. It's going to be very uncomfortable, as a matter of fact. You're going to feel sick. You're going to feel nauseous. Your head's going to hurt. Your body's going to ache. I mean, I just went over all of the symptoms yesterday of withdrawal. But the thing is, guys, this withdrawal doesn't last forever. It's got a time stamp on it. Now, pause is another thing, the precipitated withdrawals and all that kind of stuff, and some of us deal with that. Some of us deal with withdrawal symptoms for months. It can go on for a very long time. But the initial withdrawals only last but for so long, and they eventually go away. And then it's a mental game that you have to play. It's the not stopping by the store on the way home. It's the not going to the bar on the way home, or meeting up with your coworkers at the bar and having margaritas on Friday night. It goes back to what I was just talking about the other day about, I'm just going to go out and have one beer with the guys, and the next thing you know, you're stumbling in the door at 6 a.m., reeking of alcohol and cigarettes, and your clothes stink, and you've thrown up all over yourself, and, you're fumbling with your keys just trying to get the lock opened at your house, and that causes all kinds of problems in itself. There's never just, I'm going out for a beer. It always ends up, you go out for that one beer at the restaurant, the next thing you know, you've hit every bar downtown, and you're sloshed. And then your whole next day is ruined because you got so drunk the night before, or so high. And then the cycle starts again. The only thing that's going to make you feel better is the hair of the dog. And then you've told yourself, I'm not going to drink tomorrow. But then you have to have the hair of the dog to feel better. And then it's just for today. And then just for today turns into a month. And then next thing you know, 2 years have passed. That's exactly how it works, guys. But back to my point about today's video is that, don't think of it as just you and the things that you might have to go through, that you might have to have surgery, or you might end up in the hospital because you decided to continue to drink. Think about your loved ones. Think about your spouse and your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, and the amount of stress that you're going to put them through as they're sitting there waiting at work, waiting to get that phone call and find out if your surgery went okay, or waiting to find out if you're going to be all right. Because it's not like we get some kind of warning or something when we get sick. It's just 1 minute you're okay and the next minute you're not. You wake up one morning thinking everything's all right. Next thing you know, you don't feel all that hot, and then you feel nauseous. You go throw up, and next thing you know, you've burst varices and you're throwing up blood all over the place, and then you're in the emergency room. And it's not what you expected to happen for that day, but that's what happened. And before you know it, your family's waiting on you. Everybody's worried sick. They're sitting at home and they're super stressed out, or they come up to the hospital and you've got your family and your friends, and they're all sitting in the waiting room waiting to find out what happened with you. And You know, it doesn't just affect us, it affects everybody else, and it puts everybody else's life out. We don't want to do that to everybody, and we don't want to end up in these places. We don't want to end up in the hospital. We don't want to end up in jail, and we don't want to end up in our grave earlier than we were supposed to. Guys, it is possible to get sober and to stay sober. I'm not anybody special by any means. I'm just a normal guy. And I was able to do it. I was able to get sober. Now, it took me hitting rock bottom, ending up in the hospital and almost losing my life before I finally got some sense knocked into me. But once that happened, I said, enough is enough. I'm not doing this anymore. I cannot do this any longer. And decided to get sober and stay sober. And I've been sober ever since. And I know for a fact that if I can do it, that any of you guys can too. And if I can stay sober, I know that any of you guys can too. You know, I'll just say, has it been easy to stay sober? Sometimes, but sometimes not. Sometimes I really think about drinking, and it weighs on me hard. You know, last night when I was thinking about my dad having surgery today, it was stressing me out. I mean, I was worried sick. First thing that popped in my mind is I could have a couple beers and all this stress would go away. But that wouldn't have fixed anything. You know what would have ended up happening if I had drank last night? If I even lived through it, I would have gotten wasted drunk. I would have woke up this morning hungover. I would have thrown up. My head would have been pounding. My heart would have been racing. And not only that, I would have been so ashamed of myself for giving in and drinking. And then there's no way I would have made it over here to the hospital today. I wouldn't have made it. So I would have felt like really bad about myself. You know, the fact that I missed being at the hospital and I'm hungover and I gave in and drank. It would have been a triple whammy. But I didn't, and I stayed sober, and here I am today. And you know, it's these little times in our life where we can really make a difference. You know, like I said, I've been sitting in there hanging out with my mom, and when I walked into the waiting room and she looked up, she wasn't expecting me to be here because I didn't tell her I was coming. I didn't tell anybody I was going to be here today. I told my wife. But when I walked into that waiting room and my mom looked up because she saw somebody walking in, she had to do a double take, and she looked at me and was like, what? But the smile on her face when she saw it was me, I'll never forget that for the rest of my life. And it's those little moments where we can really make a huge difference in somebody's life. And, you know, we can do the same thing by either remaining sober or getting sober. I mean, think about how proud your mom, your dad, or your loved ones are going to be of you when you get sober and make that change. And they don't have to worry every single day. Think of how much better sleep that your family are going to get at night, not worrying if they're going to get a phone call at 3 a.m. that you're either in the hospital or in jail or you're gone. Because that's the kind of stuff that they have to stay up all night long worrying about. I know I had to put my family through all kinds of stress. They were always worried about me. And then the day that my mom got the phone call from my wife saying that I needed to go to the hospital, I can't imagine what was going through her head at that moment. And then she sat in the waiting room with me at the hospital while I sat there with one of those little throw-up bags, puking up black coffee grinds. I couldn't keep anything down. I was like, can you please help me just get something to drink? And my mom went and got me a Sprite. I took one sip out of it and threw up all over myself. Black coffee grinds everywhere. And I'll never forget the way that my mom looked at me as I sat there in that wheelchair. She was so worried sick. So like I said, more than anything, you know, you got to want to do it for yourself. You got to be ready to do it for yourself. You got to be ready to make that change. But at the same time, also think about your loved ones. Think about your aunts, your uncle, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. And think about all the stress that you're going to put them through while you're going through stuff like this. Because I'm telling you, if you continue to drink, if you continue to go down the path that you're going down, this is going to be the place that you will eventually end up. And I'm not trying to scare anybody, but it's just the honest to God truth. Alcohol is poison. It destroys our body. We can only get away with it but for so long. But if you stop and you stay sober, you might not have to end up in a situation like this, and you might not have to put your family through that amount of stress. So for anything today, guys, stay sober. When that thought pops up on your way home from work, and you think about stopping by that gas station to grab that 6-pack or that 12-pack of White Claws, or you see that red dot on that liquor store and you think that you might want to stop by and just grab 1 pint just for today because that's all you're going to drink. You're nothing else. Don't do it. Don't do it just for this reason, because you don't want to end up here, and you don't want to have to put your family through having to come here and visit you at whatever hospital it is that you might be at. It is preventable, guys. You know, the one thing is that our livers can regenerate. And if you've got fatty liver or non-alcoholic fatty liver disease or whatever, your liver can regenerate. But you have to stop. Don't do it without talking with a doctor first, though. You know, stopping alcohol or benzodiazepines abruptly can be life-threatening. So, with that said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I probably need to go in here and see if my dad is out of recovery yet and if he's gotten a room. I haven't gotten a text message yet, but it might be about that time. They got to be taking him to a room any minute here now. So, and I really want to catch him as soon as he wakes up or gets taken to his room. He's not expecting me to be here today either. He has no idea I'm here. I spoke with him this morning right before they walked into the hospital, but you know, I just told him good luck and that I loved him and that I would see him later on, but I didn't say that I was going to see him today at all. I don't think he's expecting me to be here. So I'm gonna surprise him whenever he gets in his room and I walk in. I know that's going to make his day. But, you know, like I said, here I am on the other side experiencing this. You know, I've always been the one that's in surgery. So I've never really experienced it from the other side of it all. And I can tell you that it's stressful. And it had me worried all night, all this morning. I'm worried right now. I've been worried sick. I love my dad. And this, of course, it doesn't have anything to do with alcohol, but, you know, I'm here and it just made me think about how stressful this is for everyone, not including ourselves, and that we just don't want to put our family through this stuff. And it's just a reminder for today. It's one of those things that we just don't think about on a daily basis, but you know, it was something that I'm thinking about right now, and I thought that it'd be important to share it with all of you. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I truly do love each and every single one of you. This community is so beautiful and so amazing, and I truly appreciate each and every single one of you that are here. You guys are all so wonderful. You know, you truly are. I am so blessed to have all of you here. Just such a kind group of people, and I truly do appreciate all of you. I'm amazed every single day at what this channel has become, and it's because of all of you. I wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for you guys. At the end of the day, this is our channel. I just make the videos, but this is our channel, our community, and together we can defeat this. So with that said, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and until tomorrow, I will see y'all then.